very fortunate today to have guest speaker Andrew and his wife Irene. They moved to Stone Ridge Creek 4.5 years ago after living in Castro Valley for 20 years. A lot of famous people lived in Castro Valley, like me. Prior to retirement, Andrew worked as a research scientist with a pharmaceutical company developing new drugs. I hope they were legal. Okay. Irene was a psychiatric social worker and has a PhD in pharmacology with training in biochemistry and neuroscience. These people are pretty smart. You know. They have traveled extensively, and their last trip was this past summer to a cruise in southern France. As a resident of Stone Ridge Creek, our speaker sings in the choir and teaches ESL to employees and participates in the men's Bible study. Irene has been active teaching Ikebana flower arranging. Our speaker is currently serving on the Employee Appreciation Fund Committee, and I might remind you this is the last week to make your donations. Got to take care of all those waiters and waitresses and maintenance people. His current hobby is doing research online. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present Mr. Andrew Tang along with his wife Irene.
Thank you, Dean.
Okay.
Thank you, Lynn, for the introduction and for Srila for giving me this opportunity to share some of my traveling experience with you all. Yesterday, I got the flu shot, and by dinner time I couldn't even raise my arm. I was, or maybe I get sick tomorrow. I have to cancel the talk, but I feel all right.
It works again.
Yeah. I'm glad to be here. My talk, the formal title is Peru, from the Sacred Valley of the Incas to the Amazon rainforest. Actually, this is two different put together. I just want to give it one shot.
Could you talk closer to the mic, please?
Oh, okay. I thought I was loud enough.
No.
This is better, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We went with overseas adventure travel. I know there's some seasoned traveler here familiar with that particular outfit. Are you all gone with OAC before? No? Well, a few people. Yeah, it's a small group travel no more than 16 persons at one time. And they go to some out of the way places with small bus. And we enjoy going with them. And they advertise this adventure and time of discovery. So we're going to learn a lot. And so we have gone for more than a dozen times. Someone is even more experienced than I did. But in recent years, I'm not sure they keep up the same quality. It's our experience. I will start with our trip. Let's see, people. Let me get closer. Well, it was 10 years ago. Let me give a very brief introduction to the Inca Empire in South America. Here is a historical map. South America on this side, the colored part is actually along the Andes Mountain, kind of a spine of the continent. The dark red color is the original Inca Empire, and the lighter colors are later on expanded the empire. A brief summary of the history. The Inca Empire was the largest empire in pre-Columbian America. The largest in terms of area covered. The empire lasted a relatively short time, only from 13th to 16th centuries, until it was conquered by the Spanish. Historically, of course, the civilization lasted much earlier, but the empire was a relatively short time. The empires are unique in that they have not invented the wheel. No drug animal, no horse, no donkey, anything that was transportation. They do have llama, but not for riding. They have developed iron or steel. They have copper, soft metal. Of course, they do have, along with copper, will come silver and gold. We'll touch a little bit more on that. They have no system of writing. If you compare to, say, Mayas in Central America area, Maya has written language. Maya has a very sophisticated astronomical knowledge, not the Incas. You have no money, you understand it? So it is surprising, though, accomplished great work of architecture in stone that you will see later on some of their building with huge stones. They have a network of roads, the well-known Inca Trail. The Inca Trail goes all the way along the whole empire. But the trail is only for walking or running. This is the only means of transportation. Inca trails right now are still fairly well preserved. And you can look up the adventure groups that hike along the Inca Trail. Of course, along the way there they camp. And if I'm 20 years older, I want to try that. They have textile, colorful and woven. It's not with cotton or wool, but with llamas, other animals. They have some fibers to do the textile. They have cut. They're counting by knotting strings. You see, put a knot string, and that's how they record the numbers. Surprisingly, such a large empire, and but you can, from this you can see a handful of Spanish, less than 200 people with a horse's shield and sword can just have conquered the whole place. Okay. This is Lima, the capital. It's by the sea. It's a modern metropolis, but unfortunately hampered by, on one side, the ocean, beautiful beaches, and all mountains surrounding it. You can barely see a runway of the airport there. There's a lot of, in the city, there are a lot of colonial times building beautiful places. It reminds you of the southern Spain, the balcony. This is another testament, center of town, protest. This is a very common sight when you travel in Southern America. They continually have protests. Talk about Lima. Lima is a very old city. It has a very significant number of Asian immigration from generation ago, both Chinese and Japanese. Different from the other North America, Chinese immigrant has very much integrated in the local population. I met the gentleman on the bus stop as we took the bus. He looked just like Chinese, so I tried to start a conversation with him, but he knew nothing other than Spanish. And my Spanish is very limited, so our conversation didn't go very far. They do have the fusion cuisine of Chinese Peruvian. They're quite interesting, not bad. More the government buildings, museums. And the museum has a lot of archaeological dig and of the early Inca cultural artifacts. Inca gold. Wow. Is this a blessing or a curse? Both. Of course, having such a good kind of metal to produce a lot of artistic things, but there's of course the downfall when the Spanish come. They extract everything from them. As I showed you earlier, the city of Lima has a very limited flat land. So the immigrants from the southern part of the mostly indigenous population moved to seek work in the big city. They have to live outside in the suburb. They're quite far from the city, in kind of a shanty town. Peru has its own social and political problem. I remember we started with Lima in the capital. When we went to Cusco in the south, our local guy is Quechua Indian, and she complained to us bitterly about the government neglecting the welfare of the indigenous people. So there's internal strife and not uncommon in South America. Outside Lima also have some Inca ruin, but because Lima is become a big city, so a lot of the building materials, the stones, have been kind of recycled, and you don't have much left. Some remains of just foundation of some of that from the Inca time. Outside, I think it is a very picturesque place. This exposure will be too dark. This is again, I was scared of Lima. What does this remind of? How about Rio de Janeiro? Rio has a similar kind of statue on top of the mountain. Animal. We went to a farm where these indigenous native animals were. You learn a few things about them. As a family, is a distant cousin of the camel. Yes, right. Not all the llama family have been domesticated. Alpaca, of course, is domesticated for their wool, very fine wool, expensive in sweater and coats. And the rest of them, llamas are used for carrying load, but not for riding. And most of the other are not domesticated, they're just wild running in the field. You see how long the coats are for kind of untidy. They come in different colors and shapes. They're all over the place. Potato is indigenous of southern Peru. They come in all dozens of varieties. Most of them are not pretty, small, and when they get to our supermarket, but I understand that they also taste the variety of tastes. Quinoa, I guess you all have eaten that before. Quinoa is not considered grain. A grain is from a grass, botanically, like wheat, rice, wheat, and quinoa is from a flowering plant. It's harvested here, kind of not easy for mechanization. That's why it's so expensive. Here is a very characteristic of the valley. I'm going to go back a step. We flew from Lima to Cusco in the south, which is the center of the Inca Empire. The Cusco is like 11,000 feet high elevation. Many people would have high altitude sickness. For us, we immediately the bus down a few thousand feet to spend the night, and then start our journey. Only on the return trip, when we go back to Cusco to fly back, we spend a couple, 3 days in Cusco when we already kind of adapted to it. But that's why I right now talk about the valley. The Secret Valley is a long valley among the Andes mountain, as you can see, very narrow. And these are once cultivated land. Remind you of in China, in southern Asia had a rice field, but these couldn't. Because of irrigation and so forth, rice is out of the question. Most of them are now not really cultivated anymore, but they still remain. Imagine you have to go all the way to daily. In the valley, a narrow valley, there's not a lot of land against this mountain all around. But our guest house is very modern, comfortable, good food, a nice place to spend the night. Guinea pigs. They are raised. The guinea pig is endogenous of this area. Our contact with this in the laboratory. They are very good to experiment on allergy. Yeah, listen to that. This is the squeaking around. Some of you may have guinea pig as a pet. This is our director. Well, this is for lunch. This is our Quechua native guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What is
This is a guinea pig. This is a golden.
And they eat guinea pigs? Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm showing you.
I thought you were more house pets.
I wouldn't tell you whether I actually eat it or not, but it was served to us.
You don't ask. He ate it.
Oh, you did. This is it, how I would present it. I assume they have more chicken. not unusual, but I don't need that kind of experience. I also noticed the corn in the background. Corn, maize, of course, is indigenous from Americas, and you have all kinds of coming, all kind of colors and size and so forth. It's going along the secret valley of the Incas. You can appreciate the flat land. It's really precious, but it's very scenic. Go along. You can see some of the walking path up the side of the mountain. These are very steep. So you have to have good lung. And this is a farming. They are not used anymore today. But we can hike up all the way and take a look at it, and people can also appreciate the work of the walls, stone walls, holding all the. This kind of travel, you need a little stamina in walking. We did walk all around. I'm still amazed. I'm not sure what they were planting. Maybe corn, maybe potato, something more hardy crops. There are, in fact, some further large valley for planting. In our group, there are a couple from Western state, and they were a farmer. And striking up a conversation with our guide, they bring corns here, but they don't seem to have the resources of what for fertilizer. So they have one crop a year only, and let the land fallow just to have it recover. It seems that if they develop more modern way of farming, you'll be a lot more productive with these lands. But they're pretty. We went to a place known for this huge stonework with a couple of pakai in the back. Imagine this stone weighing tons, and they move it to fit together so tight, with no iron too. I just don't understand how they will accomplish that. Again, these are successive chambers. It looks like the opening is very precise. One chamber after another chamber. You see the opening? Yeah. It's amazing how accurate the stonework is. Between stones, you can hardly put a knife through it. So tightly fit. Wow, this is for fun. If I can move it, I would be sitting there. Some farm life. Quinoa fields in the back. Local farmer. Women harvesting some. There are no big forests in this area except grass and small bushes. Blue pine. It's alpine kind of climate and beautiful flowers around. But this it's not amphitheater. You thought it's a little woman, but no, it's for planting. Yeah, you can also see the huge mountains in the background. And you can admire, as you see the middle of the people, it's so small, because it's a huge structure with very precise structure, planning. At lunchtime, we have local people entertain us with songs in their own costume. Their street is a small village, and their clothing and styles is very elaborate and pretty. A couple of llamas in the back. Okay, we are Machu Picchu now. Machu Picchu is not really that high compared to, well, it's higher than Lake Tahoe. But consider Cusco is 11,000 feet, so we're down quite a few. How many of you have been to Machu Picchu? Yeah, many people have been to Machu Picchu. The history of this place is, well, it was a summer retreat for the nobles. The local people, since they abandoned this, apparently the Spanish never found it, never discovered it. So they were well preserved. But the local people down the hill were actually familiar with this place. It was Hiram Bingham to rediscover it in 1911, and since 1911, he did a lot of digging from some of the more precious archaeological artifact. I understand is now in the Peabody Museum in Yale. In recent years, they have been, they were asked, and they did return some of them to a museum in Cusco now. You can see some of it. But visiting this place itself, there's no exhibit of their like whatever the people use. Look at the very steep mountain. There's a way to hike up to the top of this, but I didn't sign up for that. They were very self-sustained, both for residents, source of water, and they were fused for cultivation. Look at these steep mountains. It's really awesome. It's just looking at really looking down at the river and the road leading to. We took a bus from Cusco all the way to pretty near this area, and the final leg was by the train. Many of you went there by the train, and we stayed a couple nights in Agua Caliente, at the bottom of the hill, and went up on 2 successive days. This river, in another lake, we did try some rafting, but the water was not particularly challenging, so it's not worth mentioning, actually. Again, you can see the stonework. Look at how straight the edges is. I think we have some other means of surveying. This is supposed to be an altar. Our guide was not able to give us any detailed description of their ritual of sacrifice and so forth. some people, their itinerary only allow 1 day in Machu Picchu, but that's taking a chance. If the weather happens to be bad, then you don't see much. We're lucky. On 2 days, the weather was still good. This is where the special bus that took us up the mountain. A lot of hairpin turns, and on the top is the ruin of the Machu Picchu. This is taken from high up the group to where the Inca Trail is, and then looking back now on the Machu Picchu proper. I would recommend that you are able to take that hike, because up there is a little bit different view to appreciate how the ruin is why it wasn't discovered for a long time. Again, this on top view, how they try to cultivate every possible land. And I understand when they first discovered, there's still some remain of the cover, the roof. They're made of wood and so forth, but now you don't see anything. Well, that's just for the labs. Well, this is I can never get tired looking at it, the wall of mountains above it. Went from Lima to Cusco, and then flew back to Lima to take another flight to go to the Amazon forest. So there's an orientation, South America, continent, Brazil took up most of the place. Peru is relatively small. And Lima is in the middle. This gives you a little bit better idea of the topography. In that, except the Andes mountain on the right side, most of South America is taken up by plain, lower plain, all the way down to the Argentina, Pampa area. So, and you can see in the dark line is the Amazon River and its tributaries. Again, the map of Peru, Lima is down in the blue triangle. Cusco is right to the right in Machu Picchu, and then we flew back from Lima to Iquitos. Iquitos up there at the other mountain, but the other blue triangle. That's where we start the Amazon River cruise. So Amazon River can use a little bit explanation. I have a slide for that. It's one of the two longest river in the world. It's whether it's longer or not as long as the Nile is debatable because depends on where you call the origin of the river. But it certainly is the river with the largest amount of water that drain through, and the largest area that it comes from. It was said that early sailors found that even the barely see the horizon of South America, the water close to the mouth of the Amazon is already not salty because so much water was coming through. So that's more to say about that reason. Iquitos is last major city of the Amazon River. Still, all year round, there will be large ship coming up the river, and you can fly there. So it's a center of the Peruvian Amazon. We usually think of Amazon as in Brazil, but actually Peru has some sizable area at the Amazon River level. It has seen some better days, I think more prosperous days, but now it's a little, let's say, out of place. At one time when the natural rubber was important, these are shipping ports. These local people bring their produce from small town to sell. I said this has seen some better days with some fine small buildings. Now it's kind of sleepy the town. It's an administrative center, government building. Now, I have this number, it's important. It is almost 2,000 miles from the Atlantic City, but the elevation is only 300 some feet. You can see with such a shallow and such a low level, in the rainy season when the Andes snow melt, give a lot more water with the rainfall. The river had no place to go, but just spread out, become a very inland sea. Oh, here, one of the two largest cities on earth. The origin is way out in where Cusco, even south of Cusco. Largest body of water, largest swell. Someplace, and river can up and down as much as 30 feet. So many of the area in the Amazon River become isolated by water and can only reach by boat. So we can appreciate how difficult it is to develop agriculture in this area. We start our voyage on this. The Explorama Lodges is an organization that runs several of these exploration lodges for the tourists scattered in the Amazon tributaries. It's still active today. If you're interested, I can recommend that. It's not a bad outfit. Imagine the vast river sea. And here is two tributary with different color water, very clear demarcation of the waters. This is how people in the area live. Just up and down the river. no matter flood or dry season. And then we switch an hour after our larger boat ride. We switch a smaller tender to go up the small branch to our lodge. Arrive at our lodge. That's the landing in the background. I took these. I didn't took the pictures itself, but I get it from internet. The ads. These walkway to our cabins. They're all in steel because flooding sometimes. The cabins are not bad considered in the middle of the jungle. Of course, we don't have running water or no electric light, but it's comfortable sleeping with mosquito nests and listen to the sound of the forest. And the food was not bad because they're doing business, right? And they have all kinds of programs to nature study. The internet still have an internet connection in the one lobby area, so not really completely isolated. Our neighbor, Paris, visiting our. And this is an interesting animal tapir. Just under my window, you wouldn't see this animal. It's strange looking. It's not quite like a pig, or I don't know how to describe it. They just walk around. Looks like a good source of meat. Lilies, just on the window, beautiful amplifier all around. A lot of wild orchids. They grew on all the plants. We take some excursion with a small boat, go see the local. These are birds' nests hanging there. I'm not sure. I don't know what bird it is, but a big iguana with a long tail. I'm not sure what.
I think there's tails.
Yeah, it's not an iguana. It's some other animal. Lizard kind.
There's a wrong too.
Slow. These animals spend all their life in trees, never come down. They are vegetarian. They eat very slow moving, very shy. You don't get too close to them. A lot of birds, a lot of interesting vegetation. Went out to fish for piranha. It was sad that if by accident fall in the water, not too long you'll get some bone left. But the kid took us to fish for them. It's not hard, just throw some scrapped food in the water and they all come around fighting for it, and you just with the net you pick out the bigger ones. Actually we had the few for dinner.
Did you really eat that?
Yeah, it's like a perch. Not a fish is a fish. no particular flavor, but the teeth is awesome. They don't have to be big. Lily pads, very common in the Amazon waters. I understand that these leaves have air chambers so that they can float in the water. even you can carry the weight of a small child. I was looking for some blooms and flowers, but this is the best I can get. Maybe another season. We went on some canopy walk. They built this suspension walkway from one platform to another to look at the forest from the canopy direction. It's quite a long walk all around. You see a lot of vegetation. This is a flooded area. That's why there's no land, no road around. Poisonous frog. I understand the native Indians get the venom from this skin and put it in the arrowhead and cause paralysis because of the curare is the material that causes the paralysis. Kukuri is very common with some very. This is a giant saber tree. Saber tree is related to K-pot, which is very common in Southeast Asia. Beautiful flowers, but this is a huge. It's this tower over all the other trees around it. Look at the bottom. It's really good. The local people consider a sacred tree and leave it alone. We went to an island. There's a lot of islands separate from water. This is an island. It's a reserve with monkeys. Beautiful parrots. They're being fed, and there's a woolly monkey. Looks aggressive, but not that bad. It's following the feeder. He's really aggressive. You have to put him in cage. It's a howler monkey. I once did a few study of the howler monkey in Belize. It's kind of interesting. There are groups of these howler monkeys, and at morning when sunrise and sunset time, they will produce a roaring sound, the howl. One group would call one time and stop, another group howl, and the other. I understand it's a way of established territory. Very loud, very, very impressive, the sound. We visited the Indian village. I suspect this village was moved from their original place to a more convenient place so they can be close to tourists. These are the assembly hall. They're waiting for performance, and they did some performance for us. Very simple dance. He's a musician with a flute, and their dance is very simple shuffling steps. That's their native clothes. We tried the blow gun. They use this blow gun they can shoot the birds and small animals from the tree top. I tried it, it wasn't no success. You really take a big blow of air to shoot in the distance. 내줄게 수술 내줄. Okay, this is another small town in the river. At that time, it was cut off from road traffic, but still accessible by boat. But it's a fairly large village, kind of self-sustaining. The place, in fact, is called Indiana. And then on the left side is our tent, a small boat from our lodge to visit this place. The kid has some catch to show us. And some of these fish exotic to me. I'm not familiar with. Amazon River is also famous for a kind of pink dolphin. It's related to the dolphin we know in the sea, but they're freshwater dolphins. Their fruits are not very impressive. Not much. And I'm not familiar with this fruit. Try to look it up. Anybody know this fruit? I have no idea. It looks a little bit like lychee in China. I visited the local school as adventure travel like to do. They get you to visit some local family and schools and places like that. School was in session. On lunchtime, this is the playground. Classroom. And this is a clinic, Yamamano Clinic. You can tell it's open from Monday to Saturday, morning and afternoon, and Sunday sort of hour. This is the doctor, the only doctor working this clinic. She's from Wisconsin. I understand that she visited as a tourist at one time and found a calling to serve the local population there. So she's the only doctor. And she took maybe a couple of weeks, a year to go back to the States. She was explaining to us how the need, how to serve the local people. I admire her dedication. This is where she lived, just across from the clinic, and used this boat for back and forth. I think we're almost there. This is the end of my presentation.